Blessings and welcome, dear community. It has been so very long, at least it feels that way, since we've connected over tarot. Our divine Osho Zen and that Voyager deck I know I love so much. I'm so grateful for all of you being here, and thank you to all of the new subscribers here at YouTube land and everyone at Instagram for following me there at Tuesday May Thomas. I'm so very grateful because I have this platform to speak from. And because it feels that the messages that are seeking a way out are beginning to coagulate. They are beginning to find their divine alignment through the voice. Have you ever felt like that, where there's something you've wanted to say, something you've wanted to share and express for so long, yet for it to find the embodiment through your words is part of the initiation, right? It's a part of the getting on track and activating that. And for me, it's been 20 years. 20 years that I've been sitting with information, writing about it, publishing articles, facilitating with clients, talking here on YouTube, etc. And only now it's all beginning to come together where it's ready to be spoken, to be seen, to be shared in a much larger way. And so thank you for all of your support. I will be facilitating a booth and a spoken word lecture, a presentation called Grid Mind Science at the upcoming Conscious Life Expo, which is a huge expo full of all sorts of science and spirituality, people, lecturers, authors, all sorts of good juicy stuff. And it goes on for 3 days in LA, February 6th till the 9th. And I will be there. I will be there, and I will be giving a lecture on my topic, which is also a movie that I am co-creating with God, with spirit. And actually, I feel like I'm not even making the movie, but I'm just helping the movie to be made, working on that screenplay and connecting the dots for the correct conditions to be created. So it's very exciting because this is the closest I've ever been in 20 years of bringing this information to the masses. So if you're interested in metaphysics and the multidimensional aspects of our spiritual healing path and how to access your own ability to be a master of your time and space in this place we call the world, then check out my weekly live stream, 4D Trinity. I'll come back and I'll put a link up top for it. Every week we discuss all sorts of themes and topics all about metaphysics, all about where metaphysics and science bridge and how we're beginning to actually speak a new language, combining those two levels of awareness, and how to interface that, how to utilize that language and apply it to our lives to create the correct conditions for healing, for self-mastery, and for ascension ultimately. I've got so many projects I'm working on, so thank you for your patience. I know November kicked my butt. It was like lots of crying, lots of confusion, lots of clearing out the old, and I'm wondering how you're doing. It has been a journey, and that's just November, right? Never mind the rest of our lives and everything else we've been through to get to this point here. So blessings, and thank you for being here. Do sign up at my website, Tuesday May Thomas. The link is down below. It's the very first page. You'll see a subscription box. If you are interested in what I talk about, you want to stay in touch, I send out a monthly love letter, although I missed last month because I was just in it, my friends. I was in it last month, so I just unplugged from that. So I did not send out a November love letter, but I'm preparing our December love letter, which I'm so excited about. And it's the way that I get to keep in touch with everyone, with the community, share the information. I send out a free chapter of a book, the companion book to the Grid Mind Science movie and teachings, which is called The Holy Grail Hologram. All full of just juicy metaphysical, spiritual, intuitive insight, right? We're coming into this new domain. We are all here together, walking this path together and learning to understand what it is that we're coming into contact with as we co-create on behalf of ourselves, being and embodying our higher selves with our light body activated. So it's very exciting for me to be here now. So please do sign up at my website. All of my links to my books and other goodies are down in the description box. So again, thank you for being here. I do this reading. I used to do it once a month, and then it was twice a month, and then it was every week. And I've become so very busy that we're back to once a month. And I know it's been a minute since I missed November. So thank you for your patience. And again, all the new subscribers here at YouTube, everything that I share, everything that I post, the intention is that it serves your path of spiritual growth. It serves your path of spiritual sovereignty and your ability to feel around and to get acquainted with your multidimensional nature and to understand that as a conversation that you can have on a day-to-day basis, not just with your friends that are into woo, but where it's going to start to integrate itself, this language of light, into how we speak over ourselves, over our bodies, our situations, our finances, our health, our loved ones, our careers. And really, we begin to actualize heaven on earth. We really together are beginning to have a conscious experience of interacting with this universe, with this holographic deck, this holodeck, right? This universe we live in. And we're beginning to create good stuff. We're beginning to feel and reap the reward, if you will, of all the seeds that we've been planting for a long, long time for a lot of us. So we're going to get into it. I'm so excited because there's messages already coming through. Today is December 12th of 2019, and it is the last full moon of this decade. The last full moon of this decade. And today we had 4D Trinity, my live stream. There will be links up top. And today was really powerful because it was about forgiving the past of other people so that you can move on, so that you can create the correct conditions for your peace and your well-being. And be clear about identifying who you are as you move into this next phase, this next decade. So while we shuffle the cards, think about who you were and where you were 10 years ago. 10 years ago, that's a whole decade. Like I have to tell you, you're like, I know, it's a decade. So anyway, just pondering with that because I'm sure we're going to be talking about that at some point. Thank you again for being here. These are the old school. If you read my book, The Reiki Apprentice, links are down below. These are the cards that I traveled through Europe with when I backpacked, that's documented in that book. And I read people's fortunes with these cards on the beaches and on the streets and all over, to make bread, to make wine, to make friends, just to be on the road and do all that. So these are the same original cards, Osho Zen Tarot. Those are our main components. And what we do is we pull one from the Voyager deck, which is this lovely deck by James Wanless, a really powerful, powerful deck that combines lots of energies and elements from shamanism and astrology and ancient mythological teachings, of course, with metaphysics and spirituality, to help give us an overview of the month ahead. So today, again, is December 12th. I'm going to get this up on YouTube as soon as I can. It might be tomorrow the 13th. It might be midnight tonight. But as soon as I can. And then following after, if you're on my love letter, I will be sending out my monthly love letter in this next week. So we use these as an overview, and we use these for the fullness of our reading. So we're going to get started. We're going to give the Voyager deck a shuffle. We'll take that nice deep breath, and we'll go ahead and drop in. We'll drop into this reading for December 12th / 13th. Right around here, the December full moon. Ooh, until the November. Wait, no, we're going going back in time. We're going forward in time. What is time? Okay, from December full moon to January full moon. Why don't we do it like that? Ooh, I'm already getting like a little buzz about that idea of doing these on the full moon, or at least to converge with that divine wisdom. Okay, so I like to think about our readings as being LightWorker Tarot. We are all, if you are choosing love, if you are choosing light, if you are on that spiritual path on any different level at all, on any level, then you are learning to be one with light. You're learning to play with light. You're learning to speak with light. You're learning to embody light. So this reading is for you, dear Lightworker. This reading is for me, dear Lightworker. Shuffling these cards, we'll take a moment to take a breath. We'll call in our angels and our guides, all those divine beings that hold space and that support us, that love us unconditionally through all dimensions, time, and space. We are so very grateful for you. We thank you. We thank you. Okay, one card fell. That's not the card I get. Oh, there's another card. Let's see. Wow. Okay, this is the card. Fortune. Fortune. Now that's powerful. That is powerful. And this deck I read from the little book. So I'm going to put the glasses on and we're going to have a look. And I will hold up the card here for you and we'll give it a read. Fortune. So this is a major arcana in this deck. I'm so excited to see what this is all about. 2020, the 2 and the 2 and the 0. There's 2 2s and 2 zeros. It's very, very, very powerful, I feel, for so many different reasons. My nickname is Tutu. Apparently I gave that to myself as a nickname when I was a small child. So my grandmother says, because I couldn't pronounce Tuesday. So I would tell everyone to call me Tutu. So I feel like it's a very powerful year for me personally, just in that respect. And I'm just curious, just making conversation here, like how is it exciting and personal for you? So let's go ahead and we're going to get started. So here's Fortune. The black amour bearing the treasures of Dresden symbolizes the law of prosperity. You prosper by knowing how to receive the wealth of opportunities that come to you from the cornucopia of the universe. Like a wheel, convert these generous inputs into outputs. Be opportunistic and entrepreneurial. Resourceful, turn a negative into a positive. Spin ideas around to see a way. To seize an opportunity, be courageous, a risk taker, like the matador. You need to be optimistic, symbolized by the gold crown. Like Jupiter, think expansively and decide how you can bring available resources together to create synergy. As the dancer on the wheel of fortune, be agile, flexible, and alert, always ready to move. You are constantly recycling the wealth of the universe. By giving away what you have created, you allow new opportunities to come in. This turnover creates abundance for yourself and others. You are rewarded for sharing on all levels of your being. Seize the opportunity, be courageous, be a risk taker. You need to be optimistic. You already are that. The wheel of fortune is turning, and it's turning in our favor, dear friends. And this card symbolizes that we are so close. We are so close here to turning a corner, to that wheel that we've been spinning, right? We've been spinning in our, what was that story about the crafter that had the wheel and they would spin the gold, you know? And I feel like that's what we've been doing. We have just been working on ourselves. We have been priming ourselves. We've been preparing ourselves for this next level of our entry, for this next level of our being and embodying that version of ourselves that are in frequency and in tune with that version of us that is already in their fortune, that is already living that is already vibrating on those spheres. And we are coming into tune with that. We are coming into a full-on alignment with our capacity to be present with that. And it reminds me of a post. God, do I even have my phone here? Isn't that funny? And I don't. But there was a post that I did, I think about a week ago. No, it was just a couple days ago, actually. I'm going to go get my phone. Pardon me one second. Who I've reposted from Powerful Wisdom. And it reads, when God brings it all together, it's not going to be what you think. It's going to be bigger, better, and more rewarding than you ever expected. And then I added to that, not because bigger is better, but because you got into alignment and out of the way. You stopped forcing and started surrendering, allowing divine to create on behalf of you. It's not going to be what you think because creation creates beyond mortal minds. So this fortune aspect speaks to all the ways that we have been, again, preparing to really just embody more of the truth that we truly are, to be and embody that, to really bring it down to earth and to give it a voice, to give it hands, to give it heart, to give it vision. Right? To really bridge it down here. And that is our peaceful place. You know, it is natural to to be taken care of. It is natural to be provided for. It is natural for your rent to be paid on time. It is natural for you to have appropriate clothing and food and transportation. It is natural for you to not be without. You know, is that maybe I said that incorrectly, but it's natural for you to have everything that you could imagine that you need. You know what I mean? Like all of your needs, quote, are taken care of. And it's natural for that to be. Yet I know when we're in stress or money's tight and, you know, we're dealing with a health issue or something that, we can't pay the rent or the bills are late or whatever all the things might be, that it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel fortunate. It doesn't feel like we're on our way to being and embodying, you know, that frequency of prosperity consciousness. And it's not just about, I think the point that I'm making here is it's not just about money, right? All the divine wealth, financial wealth that you need will come to you under grace and perfect timing. Yet where we're being invited to consider things is that it's that bigger and better and under grace because we've placed ourselves in grace on purpose, consciously, first and foremost. And so we create the divine set point by which all else comes to us. But this has not come without healing. This has been very powerful, these healings. So everything is here. The message I keep getting is that you will not be without this Christmas, right? I don't know what you might celebrate, where in the world you are. I know there's viewers in India and Australia and in Europe and in Canada. And thank you so much, everyone. I'm so grateful for you being here. And of course, the viewers here in the States, in America. And, you know, we all celebrate in different ways. And I know some Buddhists who don't put up a Christmas tree or Christmas decorations, and that's just how they roll. And, you know, it's like it's different for all of us. So whatever it is for you, though, the message out of the gate going from this 2019 into 2020 is saying, you got everything you need. And if there's an area that you feel lack, that you feel that, well, actually, okay, yes, but no, not in this area, this isn't it, then the invitation, we're going to see what the cards say of how to invite us to be and embody and vibrate more in alignment with that frequency, so that is divinely granted under grace, that whatever it is that we feel in need of, because the universe wants to take care of us. It's not that even that it wants to, it's just that, like, that's how things work. You're here for a reason, right? And unless you really believe and affirm that you're here to have a hard time and to starve and to struggle, if those are your words, if those are your thoughts, then of course you're going to co-create that through the grid matrix. You're going to channel that. You're going to bring that down vibrationally. You're going to have continual situations to validate that. Yet, as you learn to manage your tongue of light and speak in new ways, you're going to start to have a different experience. And part of the initiation, which is what I'm going to talk about at the Conscious Life Expo, is that it's all about healing, enlightenment, and you having fortune. And I know you can point to people and say, well, they're not enlightened, and they're a-hole, or they're a whatever, and they have tons of money, and they don't act enlightened, they're mean. You know what? We all have our different dimensional place and space and act that we're acting out, and story that we're playing out. And what I'm talking to is I'm talking to the higher self within all of us. I'm talking to the part of us that is aware, that knows the higher level of how these things work. That's the part of you I'm talking to. Then that really cannot be compared to those aspects that perhaps we might judge or perceive as being otherwise. Okay? But from higher self to higher self, the universe's job is to take care of you. And right out of the gate, the fortune card wants you to know that you are taken care of. And anywhere that you feel untaken care of is actually, it comes back to us. Not looking outside of ourselves, but how can I create the correct conditions within myself so that I do feel supported by the universe? Because the universe has your back, right? We know that saying. Yet, only to the degree that you have your back first can the universe show up and support you, my friend. So again, thanking our angels and our guides, and we're getting into, now we've been shuffling, we're going to keep doing a few more shuffles here with the Osho Zen. So very grateful. Thank you, our angels and our guides, and all of those light beings who love us, that hold space for for our perfect well-being, and for our perfect clarity and our grounding and sense of understanding and knowing, and really just relaxing, really just being here, holding space, guiding us. We're so thankful. And so we invite you in to help guide the cards, to show us, to enlighten us from this gateway of December 12th through till January, till that first full moon in January. What is your divine guidance? Dear cards, dear higher self, dear divine guides. And given our overview card of fortune, how shall we navigate our path here? Okay, there's a few poppers. There's a few that fell out. We're going to keep going here for a moment. We thank you so much, our angels and our guides. Thank you for holding space for us to navigate under grace. So we're going to stop right there. We have a bunch that fell. Pardon me one second. Oh, maybe not a bunch. Maybe just two that fell. Okay, look, and then we're going to take from the top here. Beautiful. Isn't this funny? Every single time, even me and the BFF just at home, like playing with the cards, it's like, okay, pull a card, you know. Silence comes up, which is basically like, shh, shh, don't ask. You don't need to know. Okay. But, you know, silence is an ingredient that we learn a certain grace through. We learn a certain grace through silence. Silence is all about the throat chakra, believe it or not. Our ability to listen as well as express ourselves with clarity, to communicate with absolute clarity, is an integral part of the throat chakra being activated and illumined. So not only to hear, to listen, but to speak, to hear clearly, but also to speak clearly. And being silent is a part of that throat chakra activation. Another part of that throat chakra activation is your ability to give word, the power of your word, which anchors your experience, which gives rise to all the chemicals respond in your body. If you keep telling yourself, I'm afraid, I'm not safe, they're going to hurt me, your body's going to start to go into that stress mode, and it's going to start to percolate those chemicals within you to make you like ready to fight, ready to pounce, and you're going to start to feel that anxiety. Whereas if there's no script there, or a different script, when you flip the script and you start to think and speak with the language of light, and you really start to shift those paradigms, well, you can rest in a space of silence. You can have peace with yourself and with others. And so the throat chakra is anchored to who you are in regards, well, it's connected to everything, right? But what I offer is that it is deeply rooted to your here I am, and your here I am is your here I am is in the second chakra. And the second chakra is all about the seed of what you're here to create. Yet, when the mind is full of all those thoughts that are distracting, or what it's the self-sabotage, it's the tar body stuff too, but it's also how we consciously talk to ourselves and the words that we say on repeat. And as we meditate, and it's always the path here, right? Meditate, meditate, meditate. As you meditate, you begin to practice silence and stillness, and you begin to hear what thoughts, what words, how you think, how you're seeing things in that silence. And it's from that place, as you get clearer and clearer, and with your intention to be clearer and clearer, in the presence of yourself, in the presence of peace, the peace that's already here, you begin to realize and recognize where you can make shifts, because it's all about the continual process of creating the correct conditions for your peace, for your happiness, for your health, which is your wealth. There's people that can have a lot of money, yet they may not be at peace within their hearts, within their minds. And this is all about being that conscious master, that conscious co-creator, who has already this inbuilt fortune. There's people that have a lot of money, but they're like, you know what, I would give it all away just to have your peace of mind. And that's what we're talking about. Silence, peace of mind. That's the real fortune. You know, what is anything else? What is the gold ring? What is the fancy handbags, or whatever it might be, the car or the house? What is all that stuff? It's just the shell. It's just the 3D. But the 4D that we teach here, it's all about the heart, the miracle of the Christ consciousness. right? The ability to see through the veils of illusion in this world. And then to give a tongue, give a voice, give a body to that which is not those limiting notions of this world, rooted in pain. Okay, big one. But you know, November was big, and I don't know if you feel me, but this is very, very interesting. So on the top row, how are we going to organize these? Hold on a moment. And there's not like a ton of cards here at this point. We never know what's going to happen. Yet I know already we're several minutes in deep. And so it's interesting because fortune is our overview. Yet this top row is all about relationship. Relationship with your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, your wants, and relationship. What I'm getting is this is right across the board. This is friendships. This is romance. This is whether you're in a bond, you're in love, you're married, you're common law, husband, wife, 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 husband, husband, however it rolls for you. Whatever the situation, but this is all level of relationship, and this is also the romantic relationship, but it's also the relationship we have with the universe. It's the relationship we have with ourselves and with our creations, especially since this feeling of this is all in this, like, what are you creating, what are you giving that right meaning the light voice to within yourself that is seeking that voice, that is seeking the expression, so that you can transmute those older versions of yourself and give a correct, safe place for those deeper rooted strata of creation to channel through you in the most beautiful ways. And yes, it's not separate. Your art is not separate from how you make love with your lover, the art that you make. The writings, the words, if you're a computer coder, that's your process of creation is only a reflection of how you make love with your beloved, or with how you pursue a beloved. It's all the same thing. And what we're being asked to do is go beyond the dream. There's a longing. So what I'm getting is that the dream, this card is usually associated with when you have a fancy for someone, but you kind of don't know if they fancy you too. You're fantasizing, you're thinking about them, you're looking over your shoulder like her, and you're like, what would it be like to be held by them? What would it be like, where there's this like daydream thing going on. And besides those of you who are already in a bond, although this can happen when you're in a bond, you could be in a bond. I remember I've had partners where I've still been very lonely. And I'm not a lonely person, but ironically enough, in some relationships, romantic relationships I've had in the past, when it was done, when it was time, like I was like, I feel all alone here. I feel all alone here, like I'm really not with someone. So there could be a reset and a looking over your shoulder and a dreaming about like, I wish this could be different. When we first met, there was so much more love juice here. When we first met, there was so much more excitement. So it can be applicable to all levels. But again, coming back to the way that we relate with everything, where do you have those dream lenses on? The dreamy lenses are really important because they allow us, if you have a crush on someone, or if you have a creation that you're dreaming into, envisioning, there's this time thing here. There's this time lapse between the generation of whatever it is that you can think of or see of, and it's coming into being. And now sometimes that parking space, like I have a friend who's just like parking space queen. Like, you don't even have to be anywhere near a parking space, and she'll just be like, parking space, and you go and there's a parking space. And that's like her thing, right? But the point is that what area in regard to how you relate with your creations, with people or places and things, where it hasn't come to its full fruition yet, there is a blessing. The fantasy, the thinking, the dreaming, the daydreaming about them or it is a part of the gift, because it is in that variable that you begin to turn like a crystal. You begin to turn things around in your mind, and you start to see things from different angles or imagine things in different ways. And this is like a grace period. This is what I'm getting. This is a grace period because it's always about you. And I mean you, I mean us. It's always about us And where we are not expressing love, where in your relationship realm can you express more love? And that might be directly with yourself. It might be with your husband, with your wife. It might be even just in a detached metaphysical kind of a way. Like if you have a crush on someone, and it has nothing has happened yet, but you just like are thinking about them, and you're like crushing on them, and you're like excited when you think about them, but nothing's happened yet. What this morality card is saying, okay, and where can you love yourself more? Sometimes we go outside of ourselves, even in long-term relationships, to please someone else, to be the right person that we think we're supposed to be for them, or in that relationship, that situation, whether it's work, marriage, relationship, a crush, a job, something you're creating. And even when it's just you and you, I know I've been through this. That was my November of trying on so many, like especially when we do something new that we haven't done before, often we're just trying on all the different hats and seeing like, well, do I do it like this? I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like I want to try it like this. And then it's like and so you go and then it's like, okay, you get so far, you're like, oh, okay, it didn't work out. Okay, let me try it like this. Relationships are the same thing. Yet ultimately we can keep trying all these different fractals, but when we meditate, silence card, when we like look within and just allow ourselves to be quiet and receive that divine guidance, what it comes down to is it's like, what do you want? Where can you experience more heart in this situation? Meaning, how would you be in this crush? How would you be in this job? How would you be in this marriage if you were really there with all of your heart? And that's your higher self. That's you being the master. Is you showing up full of heart. Even if they crossed the line, even if they pissed you off, even if you're having frustration because you've been working on the project for half a year and it doesn't feel like anything's going, even if blah, 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 you have a crush on them but they never look at you. You know, it's about you. And so turning it around to yourself, where and how can I love myself more? Where and how can I love myself more in regards to this relationship, this situation, this creation? And once you turn, right? I'm turning the crystal here. Once you turn it and you begin to see things in different ways, then different ways become potentials for you. Then we have the possibilities card. A crush is going to notice who's loving on themselves. And I don't mean just like because your hair looks good and your makeup's perfect. I'm talking to, well, I could be talking to boys as well as girls here. But, but do you know what I mean? Because that's just the outside stuff. What's real is the vibe. People get vibes. They like getting vibes. Same thing with your creative projects, right? If you're loving, if you're just putting love there, if you're like, I don't freaking know, I've hit a wall, oh, I'm frustrated or I'm emotional, but like, let me just meditate. Let me just de-link for a minute, come back to love, see where I'm not showing up and putting that love there. And then however that translates for you, to be that, to embody that, to channel that, to speak it, to see it, to just let it be, to decide it is done. I'm putting love there with my husband. I'm putting love there with my girlfriend. She totally annoys me, you know, when she gets into that thing, but like, I'm going to just put love there. Whatever the situation is, well, that creates a frequency, that creates a vibe. And that love is what, we just had a card fall, and that love is what creates the miracles and creates that divine potential and possibility for things to change. And it is that project, and it is that person, and it is those people in those situations when they're charged of love that you're like, you don't even know why. We call it charisma, we call it magnetism, we call it all these things, right? Energetically with people, places, and things. But we're like, I don't know why, but I just can't stop. Like, I'm so drawn to those teachings, or I'm so drawn that video, that meditation, or whatever it is, you know? But it's because it's love. And so in regards to your relationships, your creations, to really have that peace, that fortune, that yes, is about financial wealth, that yes, is about your divine providence and you being provided for and taken care of, absolutely without question, above and beyond. It is done. Yet when we are holding back on loving ourselves, that fortune, it can show up in so many different ways, but we're so distracted with self-sabotage, with talking bad about ourselves, with being distracted by the cat meowing outside. You know what I mean? Or judging people, or whatever the thing our trip is, that we don't even see the fortune. It's like the rich millionaire person saying like, I wish I had your peace of mind. I'd give it all away just to have your happiness, like your innocence, your peacefulness. And so where can you place more love? And when you place love, that's when, and if it's meant to be, and you know, we take all these things lightly, but that's when the crush is going to be like, you know, just because that's how nature works. That's when your project is going to like pick up speed, or someone, you know, that's in that frequency that you didn't even think of is going to be like, I've been watching some of your work and I really, how can I support you? You know, we're like, whoa, all these possibilities come up beyond what you can think. This is not about us scheming and trying to like do it all ourselves. This is mystical. This is magical. And when you work from that place of the heart, love is given the right of way. The quantum organizer is given the right of way to show us how magical. Boom. That's exciting. Okay. So now on the second row, which I feel like we're just going to hold it here because this is juicy and powerful and a lot is here already. On the second row, this is so powerful because what I'm seeing is that we are so we got this. We got this. All the messages that have been shown before, it's like I feel like our higher selves are going, okay, yes. And beyond our higher selves, we are as it resonates with you, you're like, okay, got it, getting it. The bottom row, maturity. This is maturity that has experienced that has authentic experience in whatever realm. You have authentically done your work to place love in your projects where you were frustrated. You have authentically done the work to place love upon yourself where in spite of the crush that you think is not noticing you. You're not going to start bad talking yourself or focusing on a pimple or thinking how ugly you are or all the reasons why they're not looking at you. You're going to in fact alchemate. You're going to turn that around. You're going to start loving on yourself. But that's the practice. You're going to start loving in that relationship, that marriage, that bond. But that's the practice. That's the action that you get to do. And it is from your experience that you gain maturity and wisdom that ultimately brings us back to innocence, where we don't have all those hang-ups and those triggers and self-sabotage and fear and loathing and all this stuff, where we can just relax. Peace of mind, my friend. Peace of mind. And for some reason I'm saying my friend here, and I don't think I've ever. Isn't that funny how like new sayings come in? I'm like, well, since when did I start saying that? I guess since now. So maturity though, this is our innocence. This is where like we are consciously embodying our experiences. And those experiences, when we have the courage to love ourselves instead of looking outside of ourselves, but to place love where it may obviously sometimes be lacking, and then let love do the work. That's you as the master. That's maturity. And I know these cards are a little old. They're old. So they're hard to read sometimes, or to see, I think, on the camera. But that's the maturity. That's you. That's where the wisdom, that's where the experience has turned, right? The grapes have turned to wine. That experience has now alchemated into your wisdom that you walk with. And with this wisdom of you saying, okay, I'm going to choose love. I'm going to practice being that higher self. I'm going to practice mirroring that version of me so that I will be lit from the inside out and available to all the divine blessings in my world, right? And it's, again, it's not, it can be money, but let's not get distracted by money. Because remember, you're always safe and you're always taken care of. You're always provided for. Yet if you, on repeat, have different thoughts or thoughts or words that are opposite from that, right, that are rooted in fear, then it's going to be very difficult for you to see and have the direct experience of just how blessed you are. And that's the initiation. That's what we're being called into at this full moon and for this next month. And as we do that, as we choose that love and we consciously exercise it towards ourselves and towards others, towards our projects and our relationships, etc., that's where we begin to get this new vision. Look at this person on the ground, right? They're on hands and knees. And then the next level, they're like, they found their land legs, so to speak. And then they're like doing this back bend where they're like, oh, I get it. And there's the geometries. We see the square, the triangle, the circle. It's like these different activations of our spiritual embodiment becoming reawakened. And so this is the time of reawakening to this new version of you. Whatever you get, even if you see this video and it's the beginning of January and we're already close to that full moon, right? If you're just seeing this video, then still use this energy, work with this energy in the terms of what are you consciously leaving behind in 2019? You know, who can you forgive? Where can you love more of yourself, of your life, of your projects, of all the parts of yourself and your love, of yourself and your life? Because that is what is going to create the correct conditions for you to have a new vision. And you know, when you receive a new vision for yourself, for your life, for your body, for your health, for your relationships, for all of that juicy stuff, and then if it resonates, if you're like, okay, boom, this is it, every time you meditate, you sit down, like a little more of it, fractals come in and you begin to see a bigger and bigger design of it, and you begin to breathe it in, you begin to say, wow, okay, higher self, well, how can I start to connect that in the earth? And then the higher self gives you a message, and then you can't wait to go back and meditate the next day, because it's like little nuggets, little golden nuggets on the trail, and those golden nuggets are your fortune. And to the degree that you can embody what you are being shown and given is to the degree that you will have the experience of how fortunate and how blessed you are. You know, it's like there's students that just are really good at asking questions, and the teacher will give them an answer. And then the student will have another question. The teacher will give them an answer, and the teacher will have another question. And the student then, without putting any of the answers or any of the information into practice, becomes frustrated. Why? Because they're not doing the work. So what work is there for you to do? To really consciously let go of, so that this new vision of you can come into like that HD, that fully calibrated, not just like staticky kind of crickling in, crickling out, and like, well, I think that's me. I can see little bits and bobs of how I want my life to be. It's kind of staticky. It's like, no, we're going into like, vroom, like fully clear, turned on, tuned in, I'm ready, here I go, even if you know you're not fully ready, but that you're ready enough to meet yourself right now, ready. And you have been doing the work, and you're prepared enough to be like, okay, no, I can be here right now. And I have enough of, I've been paying attention, I've really exercised love, and I've embodied it, and I've processed my stuff, and I'm matured now because I understand the wisdom from a true place, not just from reading it in a book, but because I have lived it. Woo. And that's what this is saying. This is saying, by living that, you receive the new blueprint for your new vision for 2020 that has even more for you. And it's not about having more for you in terms of money, new car, although all that can happen. It's about more of you showing up into the world in your beautiful, powerful, unfuckable with self and potential. Because wherever there's love, there is allowed that gateway of the continuation of love. And so there's no end. And look at this card that we do end on. It is success. So whatever it is that you are feeling a tingle in, I already feel a sense that you already know those areas in life where you can place more love, where you can be kinder or gentler, or you know, in those relationships or in those situations, have more patience, be gentler with yourself in the process of creating or whatever it might be, or your healing, your health, you know, and also have that conscious practice of placing love here, to you, to yourself, being gentle, being patient with you. And it feels that all of this divine alchemy is coming to a head in this divine blessing that is even greater success. And you know what I'm getting is, I'm getting, when we operate from that place of love, when we really operate from that place, you know, and it's a practice, right? It's an ongoing practice. But as we do this and we really begin to understand love from that place of experience, from working with it, from being with it, from letting it in, from receiving it, that changes everything, and it allows everything to change for us, on behalf of us. And so the point that I'm saying here is that the degree that you've felt and experienced fortune is a tiny, tiny taste compared to where we're going and the potential of what's ahead of us. And this is so very exciting. 2020 holds for us new visions, that include parts of us that have been asleep and that are now waking up. There's going to be parts of you that are like, oh, I've been thinking about this. I've been dreaming about this for 10 years, for 5 years, for 17 years, for whatever it is. And like, finally, it's coming in. It has its place. Here it is. But then there's also going to be with that these little surprise gifts, if you will, that you're going to be like, oh, and this comes too. But you would never know that blessing of fortune unless you stayed true to you, true to your path, full of forgiveness for others, grace for yourself, and where you come short sometimes. You know, we're not perfect. Every day, I'm going to put it in a bubble because I don't need it to be this continual thing. If it is, it is. But I feel like in this last month, like November and now December, I'm like humbled every single day where I'm like, this is how I can be even more impeccable. This is how I really want to show up. Who the was that who said that through me? Oh, that's the old version of me that I don't want to be that anymore. So let me be mindful. You know, there's this continual cleaning of the diamond, the shining up of ourselves, the clarifying of who and what we are. And again, you knowing who you are, that is priceless. That's the true fortune. And no one can fuck with that. No one can take that away from you unless you give it to them. You know, and I mean, what I mean by that is giving your power away. And that's really an illusion because no one can really take your power away, but you can displace your own energy. But we're not doing that this month. We're choosing love, we're placing love, and we're coming into a greater center of love and loving ourselves. And that is the true fortune. But yes, all the other blessings, what I'm going to say is expect unexpected blessings. I think that's going to be the title for this tarot. So thank you, everyone. I pray that these messages really serve you and like inspire you and get you excited for, you know, just being here now and the practice of being here now, in this now today and then the tomorrow of the now, and relationships and projects or crushes or, you know, family relationships, your relationship with your body, with all of it. So thank you again for being here. I look forward to everything coming up in 2020 that I'm going to share, but also there is the intention for me to begin creating online courses. So stay tuned. I have books. Sign up at my website, TuesdayMayThomas.com. Sign up for my monthly love letter so we can keep in touch. And I'm so grateful. If you would like a private tarot reading, the link is down below. You can see my pricing and send me an email and we'll get things set up. I also facilitate spiritual counseling and I am a Reiki teacher. So if you are in the Coachella Valley and you're feeling inspired to connect, drop me a line. All of my information is down below. Blessings and namaste, everyone. Happy New Year.